Hello, welcome back to the Candyman Rod's YouTube channel. I'm Roger, and we are here for another episode of Camp Chat. And I'm here with my good friends and my co-host, Matt, the Southwest Backpacker, and I got James Blackburn here with me to my left. In this episode, we managed to make it out to the Sawtooth Mountains, Daddle Mountains, that kind of area, west central New Mexico. Matt and I have done a Camp Chat from here before. It was probably about 4 years ago when we did that. We came out here at springtime, but typical New Mexico weather. It'll be clear and sunny, and 5 minutes later it's spitting snow and cloudy and windy, and we even woke up with a little bit of snow on the tents this morning, which is something we weren't.
Yeah, it was cold.
We weren't expecting.
That was cool.
Yeah, saw some cold weather last night. It was a little colder. We've been here for 2 nights already, and last night I think was a little bit colder. Things were more frozen than they were before. But James, you've been up here how many times?
This makes my second trip to the Sawtooth Mountains.
Second trip, okay.
First time I came here with you guys in, I believe, November of 2017.
A couple years ago, 4 years ago. It's been that long.
Yeah, it's been a while, but I'm glad to be back. Thanks for having me up again.
Yeah, it's a great place. And obviously, Matt introduced me to this area 5, 6, 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And I love coming down here. Growing up in northern New Mexico, this was an area that was kind of far away, you know, and hooking up with Matt here, he's turned us on to some new country. And I'm curious, Matt, how long have you been coming out here, and how did you find the Daddles?
So I've been coming out here probably for the last 25, 30 years or
25 years, okay.
And I discovered this place through my dad. And my dad and his buddy came up here, and they used to get firewood. And we would come up here in the fall and cut a bunch of firewood, and we'd camp at the same time. And we just started doing that as a tradition every single year. And after we stopped cutting firewood out here, we would still come out and do trips like this. And so we've kind of made it a tradition now to come out to this spot here in the Sawtooths and do some car camping.
Yeah, it's a great place to come. Typically when we come out here, we never ever see anybody else around.
No.
We're kind of tucked into a kind of a secluded area that's not easy to get to. And that brings me to the next deal is when we were coming in here on Thursday evening. It was right about dusk, and I saw one of the largest, and we all saw it, one of the largest herd of elk that we've all seen down here for sure. Yeah. But how many would you say were in that herd, Matt?
I would say at least 100.
I was going to say over 100.
There was at least 100 in there.
They just kept coming in front of us and out of the trees and into the trees, and they just kept coming.
That was beautiful. Yeah,
that was a neat sight. Too bad it wasn't a little bit lighter. We would have had an opportunity to capture some film or something, but it was too dark to break out the cameras.
Too dark. Yeah. But the elk exist out here, and I've seen them over the years, but I have never seen at least 100 like that in a herd out here. That was the first time.
That was really amazing. Cool. It goes to show that the elk population out here is doing well.
Yeah.
And game management's really working. Yeah, that's exciting. Well, and another issue that we have come across today, and I know James would like to speak about it a little bit, but, you know, talking about being prepared when you go to the mountains, and we were prepared. James had a flat tire, and we kind of nursed it, got it here, and he had a spare and had everything ready to go, but is there anything you wanted to add to that?
Well, I'll tell you, when the tire started going flat, it was getting late at night already. We were approaching darkness. We wanted to get to camp. Changing the tire to the spare would have been a ton of work to do. So thankfully, between everybody here, we had Fix-A-Flat, we had a plug system, and we had an air compressor. Now, those 3 things that are essential, I didn't have any of those in my truck myself. So that's the lesson to be learned here, folks. If you're going to be going to these backcountry areas, make sure you have everything you can think of. Because if I was here alone and that tire went flat, it would have been a whole different story.
It's a long walk. It'd be a long walk out of here. It would be a long walk. So there's a good point of reference to keep in mind is always be prepared and expect the unexpected.
Expect the unexpected.
And you know, I kind of grew up with the deal is, you know, it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
Like a first aid kit.
Exactly.
First aid kit. There you go. Talking from experience over here.
Yep.
Okay, so moving on to our next topic. Whenever we come out here, we always bring more food than we can ever eat, you know, and this has been no exception. I did a cooking video yesterday, which was a brisket in a Dutch oven, and I thought it came out pretty good.
It was delicious.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
I loved it.
It was
tasty. I love the flavor and the marinade that you used for it.
Yeah, I probably went over the edge a little bit, but I just wanted to show the simplicity of doing something like that, you know, and letting it cook slow on the fire while you're off doing other things.
Yep.
In my case, I was drinking, but and watching the fire, and but then moving on to our cooking adventures, Matt has showed up with a cool toy, and he played with it a little bit yesterday, and he's got it going again now, and I can smell what he's got cooking over here. So, Matt, tell me what you got. And I already took some pictures, so I'll show a picture of it while he's explaining what he's got.
So what I brought was a solar oven, and it's made by a company called GoSun, and they started out with a Kickstarter campaign kind of a deal, and now they've become pretty successful. But I have what's called the GoSun GoSun Sport. And basically what it is, it's a solar oven, and it's got a big giant reflector on the outside of it. And the oven itself is a glass tube that's vacuum insulated, so it's kind of like a thermos. On the outside of it, it's cool to the touch any time of the day. On the inside of it, it gets really, really hot. And yeah, today we're cooking up some cinnamon rolls, some cinnamon buns in there. And yeah, they've been sitting out in the sun right now. In fact, they're steaming right now. I can smell. I get a little whiff of them as they
I can
me
smell it
too.
over here.
the breeze picks up. But yeah, we're cooking those up, and we're probably going to eat those here right after Camp Chat. So looking forward to that.
It's an amazing device. It really
yeah,
is. Watching how it works.
You can cook anything you want in there. I've cooked pork brisket, carne elevada. I've cooked up ribs. I've chopped up ribs and 2 pieces of ribs at a time, and you just stick them in the tray. And yeah, you can cook pretty much anything you want out there with the power of the sun, which is really awesome.
Gotta love the power of the sun.
Yeah, and they've got accessories where you can drop a little 16-ounce container in there, and you turn the solar oven sort of to a vertical position, and you can boil water with it.
God, that's neat.
Yeah, which is really cool. So if you needed to sterilize water or something, you could
And
do
you
it.
made some potatoes in there yesterday too,
Yeah,
huh?
we cooked up some potatoes in there.
Fried
yesterday.
potatoes, delicious.
Yeah, tasted great.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah.
It's a cool setup. I like it.
Yeah, I saw Matt messing with that device yesterday, and I thought we got to talk a little bit about this, because I don't know how long has that been available, Matt?
It's been around for a few years,
Okay.
but yeah, if you go to www.gosun.com, you can find all of their solar ovens and accessories and other things over there. But yeah, it's a really cool device, and if there's an emergency where the grid's down and you need a way to cook or boil
water.
this thing will even do it in cloudy weather.
Yeah.
And we discovered that.
We did that
we
yesterday.
were cooking yesterday, and even right now, you know, it's still kind of cloudy, and I can see that thing steaming and cooking. So
And smell it. We
Yeah.
can smell those cinnamon buns cooking. Yeah.
gets up to 500 degrees maximum on
Wow.
a nice hot summer day. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, I saw him showing or cooking with yesterday, and I knew we had to talk about it. So thank you for explaining that to us,
Yeah,
and you'll see some
absolutely.
pictures, and you'll get a better idea
yeah.
of what that is. So maybe moving on a little bit about me. Not a whole lot has changed. Quit taking nasty medications that I was taking. I just couldn't take it. It was just making me mean and nasty. And so I dumped that, and I'm scheduled to go back for a couple of more MRIs for my brain and my back. When I get back into town, I'll probably be getting notified for that. But I had to get out and get some campfire therapy with three of my best friends, and I appreciate these guys coming out with me. We have Terry, as always, in the background, and I appreciate Terry coming out too. It's great hanging out with you guys, and it really means a lot to do that. So
Appreciate
it's
it,
been another special weekend. We got one more night to go. Hopefully the sun will come out and stay out a little bit more. I mean, the temperature keeps changing, 20 degrees. The sun comes out, we take off a jacket, and it goes behind a cloud. You put a jacket back on, and but that's springtime in New Mexico. You wait 5 minutes and it'll change.
Springtime in New Mexico.
Right. Well, guys, I want to say thanks for hanging out with me. Is there anything you guys want to say at the end before we sign off?
Just thank you. Thanks for
You're
having me
welcome.
on the show, and thanks for having me on the camp adventure.
Heck yeah, it's a blast. I'm glad you were able to make it. Matt?
Yeah, just glad that we were all able to get a chance again to get out
out,
and do another trip and be around the Caveman TV and Yeah.
Just get away from everything and do a little relaxing. It's
Absolutely.
big.
Looking forward to eating some of those
Cinnamon buns.
I
Cinnamon
keep
buns are
smelling
coming up.
Yeah.
this
Too bad
direction.
there's no smell-o-vision because you guys could smell them cooking too, right? Okay, well, I appreciate everybody watching. If you have questions or comments, please leave them down below. And if you like the video, give me a thumbs up. That's always appreciated as well. I want to say thanks again to Terry in the background for joining us. And thank you for watching Canyon Man Raj YouTube channel. Thumbs up!